I had to delete Facebook because why the fuck was it taking 4 gigabytes of my space? But anyway, take number three. This is my quick review on the Backrooms movie. My main criticism is that nothing significant happens in the movie. In fact, nothing happens in the movie. But that's okay because I am 100% sure that this is just meant to be a setup movie. This is a prequel movie. This is a pilot episode that just is meant to introduce the world, like full stop. Because I feel like the Backrooms as a concept is just like such a massive and major concept. They couldn't possibly use it, like utilize its full potential in just one single movie. And I feel like they kind of made the smart choice, and this movie was just completely 100% a setup movie. Like I said, they introduced this secret government organization like 50 minutes until the movie was over, and I know they have a major role to play in any future Backrooms movie. They left the ending super open-ended. I'm pretty sure the girl, the therapist, is going to be the main character moving forward because they kind of put her at the center of like what's going on, and towards the very end, mind you. So they're definitely 100% making a sequel, like sequels or a sequel to the Backrooms movie. Um, because like they also had kind of like a can I say a plot twist at the end? Not a plot twist, but they kind of left room for like exploration and GGG. And I feel like Backrooms, just like as a concept, just has so much potential for a massive world because the characters themselves don't matter. What's interesting is the Backrooms itself. So you could literally like have different characters reacting to the Backrooms in different ways. And this was just entirely completely a setup movie, and the pacing was super slow. Like a good chunk of the movie is dedicated to people just walking in and be like, whoa, what is this? Whoa, where am I? Like that was a really like good chunk of the movie where they're just like walking around and discovering. And I feel like they did that for us, the audience, to kind of get introduced to this world and this concept of Backrooms. So this was just 100% a setup movie. Like the plot is wildly irrelevant in this movie. And you know what? That's okay. That's fine with me because it's better to like have a long elaborate introduction to this and then like follow it up with like it's like I feel like the future Backrooms movie will give context to this first movie, and it will feel better. It's good having like a very solid foundation for a movie and just having like good setup so that they can build off of that, right? Instead of them having tried to like adapt like a full like story in one movie, I feel like the movie would have been bad and would have been rushed, would have felt rushed. So I'm glad they took their time to just use this movie as setup. There is 100% going to be a Backrooms 2. This movie has almost no plot. The plot is just fully entirely irrelevant. The girl has a backstory that was just not touched at all. It was hinted at in tiny chunks, but she has a very massive deep backstory that they are going to touch onto into the future because they didn't even like bother. Like they just gave us tiny chunks. They didn't even attempt to like tell her backstory. So yeah, there's definitely gonna be more for her in the future. So yeah, that was just not really a criticism because it's fine. I completely understand they can take their time with this project. But my main criticism was that like, okay, the Backrooms movie wasn't scary. It wasn't that scary, to be completely honest. To say it's a horror movie might be a stretch to me because I think there are only like two jump scares that kind of got me. Not really, and one of them was like way at the start of the movie. But I feel like, yeah, it's just not that scary. And I think it's because, again, they were just setting up the world and introducing us to the world. But the whole appeal of the Backrooms, right? To me, I feel like it's these people going into this unknown like world with this untouched territory, and they don't know who or what might happen to them or what might come out or whatever. And I feel like there's something the YouTube series does very well, which is keeping the entities very ambiguous so that you have no idea what they can do. So it's kind of left up to the imagination to just assume that the worst possible thing is going to happen to these people when they come into contact with the entities. And I feel like the movie kind of ruined that a little bit by explicitly showing us the entities and what they can do and what they are. If they had just left it ambiguous and unknown, then there would have been a way scarier threat. But instead, they gave the entities a face and they gave the entities like a body we can interact with instead of them being like in the unknown. And it was really, really bad because the main can I say antagonist? I don't know. The main entity that chases the girl, like I said, was one shot by the girl. It was not scary. First of all, it's super slow. It's very, very slow. It only caught up to the girl because she was limping because her leg was broken. If she sprinted, that thing was never going to catch her, like ever at all. Number two, when it did catch her, all she needed to do was genuinely, like dead ass, all she did was hold it back with her hand, and she succeeded in holding it back. And then she just had to bash its head in with a stone. And also she hit like its leg with a bat and that broke the leg and then it was immobilized. So that entity was super, super weak. I feel like if you just beat it enough times, it will die and you can escape it. And that kind of ruins the stakes a little bit because it's like if one girl with a broken leg can escape this thing, then it's like what's so scary about them. It kind of does ruin the stakes just a little bit. But I maybe they'll introduce stronger entities into the future. I don't know. Again, I can't really say much because this was just entirely purely just a setup movie. The pacing is very, very slow. You will want to fast forward or skip at so many points during this movie. The pacing is slow, but that's okay. It is just purely 100% a setup movie. I cannot wait to watch Backrooms 2 and see what they do with the idea because I feel like what they do next is very important to put this one into context and perspective. But anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah.